Hello and welcome. Today is a very special honing day for me. I have the opportunity to try out and evaluate this very special Japanese natural stone. And why do I say it's special? Well, this is a Nakayama Maruka stone, and it's a stone that is also from Hatahoshi, has the Hatahoshi related stamp on it. So it has this. This is a stamped stone. So it has prestige, or it is a prestige stone. Let's see if I can find the stamps. The Zen stamp is here, but I don't think you're going to be able to see it through the lacquer. Try to get the reflection. That's the Zen stamp. And here is the Maruka stamp. You can see that more clearly. So Maruka is the finest quality. It's a graded stone from the Nakayama mine back in the 60s. And it's the finest quality. These are very hard to find. They're rare. A stamped stone is rare. The surface of this stone is unbelievably smooth and velvety in feel. And as I said, this is a stone, because of its stamps, that has pedigree. A little bit about the stone. I mentioned that it has both the Maruka and Zen stamps. Zen relates to the Hatahoshi. I think they took over the mine in the 60s after Kato. I think after he died, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert on this stuff at all. There are people who are, and I'm not. I'm just a guy who sharpens. But I have looked into Japanese natural stones that have pedigree. I own one myself. This here is also a Nakayama stone. This one was stamped, it no longer is. It's a Nakayama, and this is a Maruka as well, and this is a Shohonyama. And both Maruka and Shohonyama relate to the rating of the stone, finest quality, highest quality. Obviously, this was a very expensive little stone. This is on the order of 4.5, 5 inches in this dimension, and on the order of a little under 3 inches in this dimension. And as you can see, it's pretty thin stone. But this was a very expensive stone because of its pedigree. This stone is going to be very expensive. This is a collector grade stone. You do see, when you feel these stones, when you feel the surface of these stones, even not wet, you can tell that they are going to be very, very fine finishers. And that both of these are Awasedo, which is finished stone. That's how they're graded. And you can tell that by just feeling the surface. Super smooth, super velvety. I have a very expensive Ozuku stone that does not, it's also a finishing stone, and as I said, very, very expensive, but it does not have this super velvety feel. I don't know what this color is. It's kind of a greenish brown. This is a Mizu Asagi, and I don't know what this color is. If you do know this kind of thing, let me know. This one's very thick. This is a collector grade kind of stone. This is going to be very expensive. It's a stone you definitely want to use. If you buy it, it's a stone that you want to use. As this was sent to me for evaluation by Easy Hone on eBay, the Easy Hone store on eBay. I have tried. He also sent me another Jnat to try, and a while back, and it was, I think, from this same series, but a much smaller stone like this one. Really designed. This one's really designed to be handheld. The other one as well is as well, or was as well. Hopefully he sold it. This, on the other hand, is right up my alley. This is a bench stone. So let's see. So I showed you it's very thick. Let's see. I guess we'll get going. What I'm going to do with this stone is a pretty standard Makawa progression. I'm going to go through Botan, Tenju, Majiro, Koma, and then I'm going to finish. I don't have an actual Tomo stone. It's a piece of this stone, but I definitely want to see what the what it's like to use this stone's slurry. So I'll be raising a diamond slurry, a diamond Tomo with this stone. I'm sure there's something else I should say about this stone. Oh, hardness. You're going to want to know the hardness. Easy Hone, who I actually know his name, but I don't know about doxing here. So Easy Hone has told me this is a hardness of 4.5 to 5, and I'll let you know what I think as I get to using it. This stone is in the 5, was rated as a 5. It's a pretty hard stone. Doesn't self-slurry. The Azuku that I have is 5 plus. That is a really, really hard stone. Okay, so let's get going. What I like to do with these stones, I don't soak them. I mean, you don't need to soak them. They're extremely dense. But I like to hold them under water for a while. So I'm going to do that running water. I just turn on the water and hold it under the water for a couple minutes or a minute or so. So I'm going to do that, and then I will be right back. So the razor for today is a Puma 89. There you go. There's the Puma 89. 5/8 hollow ground, obviously square point. And what I've done is I've taken this to the 4,000 grit Shapton glass stone, and I made a little video of that I will show you now. And then I killed the edge off of the razor so that it is now a dull edge. So, and the reason for all this is so that the final texture that you see on the razor when I'm done sharpening, the final texture that you see will come from the Nagara progression and the final material off this stone, and that'll be what I shave with. So I'm going to build a Botan slurry first and get going. So I'll be back after I build the Botan slurry. Okay. So let's see what this stone feels like. Now the big reveal will be in the final stage. Surface feels very, very good. I can definitely feel a little texture in the stone itself, a little sort of a feeling of hills and valleys in the stone. To the hand, that's not noticeable. So I suspect it's a feeling of a slight difference of material within the stone, but is not really a feeling of variation in flatness. I have that happens to me with my Karasu. It feels, I can feel the differences in material in the stone, but it does not affect the it isn't really a feeling of variation in flatness. I want to do a little concentrating here. Just working using the Botan slurry to try to bring back this edge. This is going to be a one stone hone. I am at this stage using some pressure on the blade, using my two-handed technique that I recommend that nobody else follow. Okay, let's see how we're doing. See if we have an edge. We're no longer bouncing off the freshly minted packing peanut. Be nice if we already have an edge. Now, Easy Hone told me this is a relatively fast stone, so, oh, look at that. Yes, sirree, beautiful. All right, we're going to move from Botan to Tenju. I'm going to do the full progression here. And I'll be back when I have a Tenju slurry. All right, Tenju. Here's the Tenju. Tenju is now done. I definitely want to make sure with half strokes that I'm trying to get rid of the previous finish, although I'm okay with Japanese natural stones. I tend to treat the finish, the Kasumi finish, as an accumulation of the different Nagura or Nagara grits, and I'm not so concerned with having one Nagara's slurry replace the scratch pattern of the previous one. So long as the final edge is very keen and has a nice form to it, then I actually think that when it comes to Japanese stones, letting that accumulation of scratch pattern occur adds to the character of the edge when you shave with it. So again, you know, it needs to be sharp. It needs to have a nice keen edge, that edge needs to be nice and have a smooth form, smooth flowing form. But I'm kind of okay if the imprint shows the character of the progression used. I'm not necessarily okay. I don't have that same opinion for synthetic stones. I think the synthetic approach is more you want the finish of the final stone. Okay, let's see how we're doing here. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. I'm going to do a little bit more on this, just a few more passes, and then we'll move to Majiro. Here is the Majiro stone that I just used. And let's get going on this slurry. Yep. That'll make the whole difference right there. Still, the feel of the stone is still very, very good. I'm still feeling that slight variation in surface. It's changed a little bit, and I think that's because of using the slurry itself as a bit of a surface abrasive. But I still feel it. I still feel variations in the surface. However, the surface feels totally flat to both the hand and to the stones when I'm creating a slurry. As you can see, I've got terrific undercut going. That's the slurry running up over the edge. We want to see that looking the same on in both directions. That's a real good indication that you have even wear on the apex, that the apex is aligned directly under the spine. I was using a little bit of torque or a little bit of edge bias, and I've backed off on that. Now I do have I want to feel the stone surface, so I'm not letting the edge float on the stone. I have a little bit of bias so that I can feel what the stone feels like as it moves across the surface. Okay, let's do a test here. Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay, we're going to call that super-de-duper, actually. Let's move on to coma. I will raise that slurry and be back. Okay, here's the coma slurry. Before I move forward, my attention is pretty much on this stone and what the experience is like honing with it, and I'm trying in real time to sort of let you know what's going on. If I'm raising a lot of questions or if you feel I'm leaving something out, don't hesitate to ask a question in the comments. I'll definitely get back to you. You know, if nothing else, I'll tell you I don't know, but I'll definitely get back to you. Should you buy a stone like this? Obviously, that's your choice. I'm quite happy having spent the big bucks on my Nakayama Maruka Shohonyama stone, even though it's not a perfect size for me. If it had been this size, I would have liked it more. How do the stones compare? Very similar, except that the feeling of going over different material I don't have in that stone. I can sort of tell though that since I've experienced that with other stones, it doesn't detract. For me, it does not detract at all, and I know, especially for my karasu, that it has no effect whatsoever on the resulting edge. If the resulting edge is bad on the karasu, there's really, well, I obviously am going to blame it on something, but in reality, if it's bad, it's my fault. But you didn't hear me say that. Any bad edge I'll have an excuse for any bad edge. Well, now this feels, I can really tell that this coma, that the slurry on the coma, well, I did make it a little thinner, and I can really feel the particle size is much smaller, and I can feel a sort of a greater alignment in particle size between this coma and the underlying stone. And I don't think this stone is self-slurrying at all. But they feel, this slurry feels very married to the stone. I don't know how else to say that. The other slurries feel like a slurry that's on top of the stone, but this feels as if it's very, very close to the slurry that would come off the stone. Very smooth. Very velvety. All right. Hopefully we have not gone backwards any. Oh, no, not gone backwards. We're pushing into the cloud here, coming off of coma. All right, so now I'm gonna not pull away. This is the big reveal for me. Is the diamond slurry. Pull up the diamond slurry. I'm gonna wet it down, or the diamond, and wet it down. So yes, this is the big reveal. I really want to see what this feels like on my Nakayama Maruka. It's a bit of a heavenly experience. So I'm interested to see how this compares. I'm sure it's going to be good. I don't know that you could get better than what I get off my my Maruka Shohonyama. So it'll be interesting to see how close it is. I mean, there's definitely a different surface feel to this stone than my own Nakayama. So I would expect the feel of the surface with its own slurry to also be different. Well, let's see. Here we go. Oh, that's nice. It is not the same, but it's very, very nice. Very velvety. The other is, my own is very velvety too. Definitely no pressure. Just the same amount of edge bias that I told you I was using before. I'm probably not going to be changing that. Ah, this is so nice. This is what you want right here. And as I mentioned earlier in the very first segment, this is what you pay for. This kind of performance. You know, if all you need is a stone to be the base for your slurries, you don't need to be getting a stone with this kind of pedigree, unless you're interested in having such a thing. I mean, there's no reason why if you want such a thing, it would make complete sense to have it. But from a functional perspective, what you're really looking for is this payoff right here. How does it behave as a finisher, using either its own slurry or mixing its own slurry with other Tomonagura? For this sharpening, I'm just going to use this diamond slurry. It feels phenomenal. Different from my own, but you know, this has its own character and it feels terrific. All right, I'm going to water this down. I'm not here to test. I'm going to basically move to, I'm going to dilute this, and then I'm going to see effectively, you know, what does this stone feel like on plain water. I don't like running water, so, but you know, a puddle of plain water. That's very nice. This would be how most people are going to finish with this stone, I think. Feels very good under plain water. We're going to look at the edge, obviously, when we're done. But visually, whatever the Kasumi is, it's kind of a polisher. It's a little bit of a shine coming through. Some of these are not, but this one seems to be a bit of a polisher. I can, even with this puddle of water going on here, I can feel the stone wanting to grab a little bit, not a lot, but definitely wanting to grab the edge. I'm sure if I kept this up and was using completely plain water, then I could run this until the stone stopped me. Now let's see, that's very nice. Let's, I'm gonna do some X strokes here. Let's see what this feels like since I have it. Let's try a little bit of soapy water. At this point, I don't think I'm going to be able to, if the edge is getting keener, I don't think I'm going to be able to tell because it was already so effortlessly falling into the polystyrene that I would have said it's shave ready, probably two Nagara ago. So at this point, this is just about letting the stone do whatever it's going to do in tiny amounts of refinement. And the idea with the soap was just to see what it feels like. It feels really good. As always, the soap removes a good deal of the surface feel, leaving you with a tiny amount of surface feel and the ability to simply float the edge right across that surface, getting the tiniest contribution from the abrasive on the surface as possible. I'm 100% sure this is not necessary, and I'm 100% sure I want to do it. So this is a long video. I apologize for that. Hopefully it's been interesting to some of you. Oh, yeah. Well, I haven't exactly ruined the edge. That is really, really nice. It's just floating in very evenly. All right, and I haven't even stropped it. So, so I'm calling this a success, but let's see what the next thing we have to do is see what the edge looks like under the microscope. So let's go do that. So I thought it would be interesting to take a look at this edge together. So I've mounted everything up on the microscope, and I'm going to crank the edge into view here. At some point. There we go. All right, so let's actually focus this bad boy, and there we go. That's good enough. Focus is very hard. This is at 800 to 1 magnification. Very few people are used to looking at magnification this great. Certainly JPO is, but I know not a lot of others of you are foolish enough to spend the money on a microscope like this. But you know, John and I, we're unusual individuals. Okay, so this is the center, and scratch pattern looks I mean, first of all, for a Jnat edge, that apex is amazingly refined. You know, it's a natural stone with a mix of particles, which gives you that beautiful kasumi finish that you see on the bevel. But the outline of this apex is extremely regular, very much like like what you would see on a synthetic stone. So this is really impressive. So there's the center. Let's crank back and take a look at the heel section here. Get back in focus. There we go. All right, so we're right at the heel, so I'm going to move towards the center here. And that's looking very, very good. Don't know what that little line is, but it doesn't extend to the apex, so I'm not worried about it. Let's there we go. So this is more normal for a we're at the heel again. This is what you would more expect to see for a Jnat edge. And again, this apex, obviously I'm familiar with looking through this microscope, so this is still in the excellent category from the point of view of the stone. Let's go take a look at the toe. Oh, toe's looking really, really good. Obviously, I could have maybe put a little bit more time into the heel, but the heel doesn't need it. It's testing really well. Doesn't have the beautiful finish of the rest of the razor, but it is looking good, so I'm going to leave it. And this is as perfect as it can get right up here near the toe. And this is the most used, this in the center of the most used areas. So that's looking really good. Let's refocus here. Really hard to focus. There we go. All right. I'm going to call this a success. Now let's go shave with it. All right. To make the long video longer, I thought I'd do a little bit of a wrap up. First, thank you to EasyHone for letting me try that Nakayama Jnat. That was a real experience, and I really enjoyed it. You know, it's tough duty, but you know, I do it for the community. Thanks again. What I've done post looking at the microscope is I've stropped this. I did 20 laps on linen, and then I've done 40 laps on this steer hide leather. This is a bench strop made for me by Tony Miller at Heirloom Strops. If you're in need of a high quality strop at great value, go to Tony. He's a fellow Marylander, and he's a terrific guy to work with. He's made several strops for me, and I've actually bought one off the store. But I have some that I contacted him and said, you know, would you make this for me? This was one, and he said sure, and just went ahead and did it. I noticed that Marion the Barbarian did a bench strop. This is a bench strop. He did a little short showing how he uses a bench strop. This is how I use a bench strop. Surprisingly to most of you, I actually do it one-handed. So I get my elbow above the plane of the strop so that I can put a tiny amount of pressure on the apex or on the edge. I don't use a lot of pressure. I let dragging the edge across the strop is what I let do the work. This is a little bit slower than my normal pace right here. Fast is not important, but nice even pressure on the edge and letting the strop do the work does the work that a strop is going to do. So this is how I do it, and I will see you in the shave. Thanks again for joining me. Bye.